I have been an English teacher to the Chinese children online for 8 years. I also was very fortunate to be able to live in Qingdao and Weihai as an English teacher. I was surprised when I got to China. I realized that what the tourists were seeing was very different from what I saw as I lived with the locals. I was able to experience life, what it felt like to be someone Chinese, and I realized how controlled my friends were. And it was very sad to watch. As I taught in the schools, I could see that the children were given a different respect as well. It's not how we treat students in America. And that really helped me to understand what freedom really is and what is missing from my friends in China.
I just wanted to point out the symbolism behind beneath sheep's clothing because it's such an accurate representation of this, like the tactics that they're trying to use to push communism out to the rest of the world. Now, you said that you've experienced firsthand what it's like to be Chinese and live under such a controlling government. And I think the main threat to Americans is that they don't understand the severity of what's going on and how they're being infiltrated to this day.
Right. Americans are not taught to recognize what communism is. In fact, we are not even explained it in school. We learn a lot about World War II, but nothing about communism. So what I'm seeing now is the smart cities coming to America, the digital currency, as well as the children in the schooling, how that is changing. It's taking away our ability for independence. We are now watched by facial recognition. We are now controlled by the way we spend our money as it's known by our government. These are similar things I saw in China that we did not used to have in America.
For example, the digital age, like you mentioned, we have our phones on us that's constantly feeding the younger generations propaganda directly pushed out of the CCP. For example, the TikTok epidemic that we see to this day is absolutely brainwashing the children
Right.
to chase like instant gratification.
Especially during COVID, your
Exactly.
people, I would hear from my students of soldiers that had a gun at the bottom of their apartment doors and they were locked in their apartments for many months and couldn't go outside, or that were desperate and concerned about having access to food. My foster family, I haven't heard from them. I worry about them. Yeah, it's just very scary how your phones were used to track you down and put you into quarantine. You didn't have a right to be healthy and still produce an economy during that time.
Speaking back to our phones, when the A4 like paper revolution was sparked in China a couple months ago, they were sending messages through airdrop in an effort to attempt to conceal their identity and reduce the paper trail that leads back to them. So what did China do? They just asked Apple to shut off the airdrop feature in all of China. And it's a crazy thing because you think Apple is an American-born company.
I'm sorry that happened. That was very wrong.
It's just not only that, but it's an effort that we have to make as Americans to inform other Americans what's actually happening and help them wake up.